I'm putting my last finishing touches on this. In my other video, I welded a sprocket to a sprocket. I got a little bit dirty. I didn't have time to start this up and make a video for everybody to see. This bike wasn't bragging rights. This project had so many turns going south, like that fender there. I had to cut things out to make it fit. This exhaust, I had to cut the rack out to make it fit. Okay, these wheels, I had to get these extensions because every time you tried to put air in the tube, the stem of the tube would sink into the tires. There were so many hinks and kinks. Like, I still cannot find the Forest Cycle Group, the M-Wave kickstands, which I prefer. They're heavy duty. They really hold up, and if they break, you can repair them. There's nothing cheesy about the Forest Cycle Group's M-Wave kickstand. But anyway, I thought I had one in stock. I squirreled away parts, like these brake handles. They're from another bike because they're metal. They're hard to get because all the Chinese toads want to give you is junk. And then the last thing I wanted to discuss is brakes. We're waiting for a front disc caliper for that. It's just one of those things. I got building this, and you think in your mind you bought everything. And actually, some of the parts like that, I did sell stuff that was actually meant for this bike because I can get it again. But there were certain things that are hard to get, like those forks and other things. I bought this thing. I got the frames in a trade for other parts and other stuff. I traded another bike. That's what it looks like on that side. I'm running a 32 tooth sprocket, not a 36 there. And I might go to a 36. I don't know. Okay? I just wanted to let everybody know while I'm shaking the camera around. When you're making those bikes, I hate this camera and this stand. It's not user friendly. When you're making these bikes, folks, expect everything that can and will go wrong to go wrong. The handlebars, that was the only good thing, is the handlebars was the only reason why I fell in love with it after the forks were on it. I realized I didn't have the wheels. I got those in another trade deal. So that's why it took me almost, I think my last video when I featured this bike was like 2016 is when I got it, or 17. And it was all in pieces. There was nothing there. So I bought the forks. Those I bought. The handlebars I bought. Most of the other stuff I got in a trade, except for my engines. I make my engines. See, I'm kind of like a farmer by trade. As much as I do construction, roofing, or whatever. I'm a hobby farmer, even though my tomatoes are looking all peaked. We had a really hot, putrid summer. Most people would call it hot and putrid. I actually like the summer. I actually like the heat. But this year I had an illness, and the heat kind of got a hold of me. That's what your money is going to buy you, is a lot of grief. So if you're going to use a caliper-style brake on those carbon fiber wheels, I don't suggest it. I don't know what I can do there to get a back brake on there. I might look into that BBR tuning. I think they make the drive sprocket, and then the disc brake that sits out a little further than the sprocket, and I might be able to get some kind of universal disc brake kit or make a bracket to fit on there. The other thing that went south is that pedal center itself. Keeping those nuts on it tight. You're not going to do it without Loctite. And that means next time it's got to come apart, or you got to replace them bearings, which are peanut brittle garbage. Everything that I've encountered from Bikeberry, we're going to bash Bikeberry again. Bikeberry, I hate you turds. They don't know what specs are. They don't know what measurements are. They go by pictures. And as I said in my first video, anything that you can buy for a motorized bike from Bikeberry, you can find on eBay, because they just order it from eBay and charge you, mark it up 10-20% plus the shipping, and they screw you in the butt. And they really have no customer support that knows anything. They have some informational videos online, and a lot of that they got from guys like me, out where they live, not here. Some of this stuff they tried to copy and mimic my stuff, but I make a lot of that stuff unique. And then when the Chinese get a hold of it, they make it out of those cheaper metals and stuff like that. Because I had a lot of beefs, and I still do on the phone. Your bikes cost that much? Yeah, because I use different metals and different materials. You know, if you want that other stuff, you call Bikeberry. If you want one of those CDH Power, those crappy heads or whatever, they have a good head and they have a bad head. Right now, as far as I know, they only have either or. BBR tuning's a little in between, but you don't know whether you're buying the 5-to-1 head or the 6.0 head. They have no spec on their heads, as far as I know so far that I've looked up. They're just a performance head for 49cc. One size does not fit all, especially like I put this Fred's head on there, and I realized with those open ports and stuff on these new Zetas, they saved me a lot of trouble. A lot of the stuff that I would do to these engines in my other videos, it's already done. You can buy it that way. It's the rest of the science. The head, the exhaust combination, and that NT carburetor was one of the first NTs I've had in the last 4 to 5 years that actually worked. That new style NT carb. I'm going to take you off to see that. It's been featured. There's videos on it, but I have the new style on here. So that actually works, that carburetor, but to me it's very underpowered. It needs to be jetted. So my peeve, what Uncle Dutch does with that type of situation, what I'm going to do there is I'm going to order a bunch of them. And I wouldn't say a bunch. I might order 3 or 4 of them. And what I'll do is I'll jet them. And like I said, I use a 63 to 65 bit, depending on the engine. That, I think you're going to be able to go to a 63 and be happy with it. So if you're going to jet a carburetor, that takes a gentle hand. It takes a special type of drill to handle those little bits. And like that bike never would have been running. The normal guy does not have a welder in his pocket, or even if he has one of those Harbor Freight welders, they're underpowered for the jobs that they do. They're junk. That Miller welder saved my ass more times than Sam Colt did over in Iraq. So what you're going to do, and then what you're going to learn to do with that type of thing in situation, is take it to a professional. And 9 chances out of 10, you're going to be very discouraged because it's going to lay there. You know, you're going to drop it off on a Monday or a Friday, and you're thinking maybe during the week it's going to get done. It might lay there 3 weeks to a month or 2 months. Depends on who you take it to. Some guys are a little more astute. You know, they don't mind the 25, 30 bucks they, you know, in their pocket. You can buy groceries with it. So I do that type of stuff here for people. I do meatball repairs, and it does buy groceries, cigarettes, and it does keep me empowered a little bit, especially repairing regular bicycles and that. But learn a lesson from these bikes and this BikeBerry junk. Most of the sites do not have customer support where you can actually compare specs. So I put 415 chain on the other side of the bike, and I'm happy with it. And actually, it's not like a bicycle chain that tends to wane, stretch, and break when you're moving a heavier person in a heavier bike like that. So I really can't complain about what I did. I really fixed the problem, and I also bolted it like we do in aviation, because you put a lot of torque, and as I told you, you don't want to let your nuts laying in the middle of an intersection or a street corner, because nobody's going to come back for them when you're laying there. You're going to have to pick them up yourself and take them to the hospital. And that's a little hard to do when you got a groin strain. Trust me, I've had a few of those injuries in my time fooling with this shit. My videos are usually pretty smooth and fluid, but there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes where I get hurt, I get injured, and I really don't care to show it to people. I just warn you about the mistakes, and that's one of them. When you're going to weld stuff and put stuff together like that, the wind's picking up here pretty good. When you're going to weld stuff and put stuff together, make sure it's right. So that's my video to you guys after the first one. And we'll start it up. It does run. I know it runs because I made sure it ran. But we'll do a startup video. I really didn't drive it or anything because I don't have the front disc brake. We're just going to have to wait for Santa Claus. I had a little termite in my wallet every time with this medical system. Mexican kamikaze pilot. That's what that was going by. I've had a medical thing issue going on, and I've got this termite eating my every extra dollar bill that's in my wallet. So that's my video, guys. Thanks.